I talk a lot on my channel about hobbies. Whether these are art things, sports, games, or anything else, I think it's really important to spend time on things that you enjoy to do instead of all the things that you have to do. However, one downside of hobbies is the process of starting one. Deciding that you've always wanted to try this one thing, so you get all the supplies and you sit down to try it, and then it turns out you suck. Those cool videos on TikTok showing you how to crochet a blanket in 6 days? Well, turns out that it's not that easy. Trying new things, unfortunately, almost always comes with a really annoying side effect. You have to be bad at it first. In this video, I want to deep dive into the art of being bad at something. Why going through the discouragement of making ugly art is so important, and why hobbies are still valuable even if you never get good at them. But also, I am going to start a new hobby with you guys. One I am terrible at, even though I should probably already be better because of the 30-day challenge I tried to complete multiple times. I hope you enjoy. When I was 17, I applied to art school. I had a portfolio filled with photographs and woodworking pieces and poems. My work was conceptual and usually had some deeper societal meaning behind it, backed up by interviews and research. I got accepted into art school and I spent 4 years developing my vision as an artist. I did projects with embroidery and video making, and I graduated by making a book filled with all these art assignments for kids. I spent 4 years getting decent at a lot of things and not necessarily very good at any of them. And now I am an art school alumni and I don't know how to draw. Of course, I know how to draw. I've been an art teacher for young children for the past 4 years. So I know how to teach you the basics. I know how to talk to you about shadows and light and perspective. But I stopped drawing when I was 17. And even before that, it was more of an afterthought for me. It was something I enjoyed, but I never got particularly good at it. I loved drawing little things in my sketchbook, but I never spent a lot of time improving my drawing. And when I got to art school, I was surrounded by people who were all better at drawing than me. So I stopped. I focused on the things that I was already semi-decent at, and drawing became something that I was ashamed to even try. The truth is, from that moment on, I feel like I should have known how to be good at drawing before I started art school. I wasn't accepted into the class because of my drawings, and it was never a big part of my education, but I felt like it was something that was expected for me to just know. And when I graduated, that feeling just got worse because now I was an art school graduate. And just saying those words is often followed by the expectation of making beautiful drawings and paintings and beautiful, realistic artworks. And that's just not what I was taught. So every time I thought of going back into drawing, I felt ashamed. I was ashamed to be bad at something that I felt like I should already be good at. So I just never tried. Until now, because when I thought of this video idea, I knew that I wanted to include this. I can't sit here and talk about how important it is to try new things when I'm afraid to even open a sketchbook. So this is the start of my journey of getting back into drawing. I have decided that I want to get back into drawing or get into drawing in general. Like, I feel like it's quite daunting to start. There's a lot of expectation I put on myself in terms of like the quality of the drawings that I think I should be making, which makes it hard to even start. To be honest, I've had this idea for a few months and I've really just not started because I feel like once I start, I have to accept the point where I'm in the quality of pieces that I'm making. Like right now, I can still pretend that I'm better than I am, but if I start and I really start to try to draw more, I'm gonna actually see how good I am, and that can and probably will disappoint. And I think it's interesting how much I am focused on like making something good and pretty. And I feel like drawing is different in that sense than any other hobbies I have. Like, for example, with crochet, I feel like I can make something that looks kind of shitty, but it's still useful. Especially in the beginning, I made projects like an e-reader case or a scarf that can be really warm, or little pouches that I could use to organize things in my bag. And all of those things were still useful, even if they didn't turn out pretty. And even then, it was hard to start. But I feel like, especially now that I'm trying to do something that, like, for me, I feel like the value in drawing is in making something pretty, which is not actually true, but that's what I've been telling myself. Because what I actually want, like the reason I want to be able to draw, is because I love to journal. And I love the idea of being able to capture things throughout my day without having to take pictures. Because now, whenever I make journal spreads of like a week, a day, a month, whatever, I combine pictures with like things like junk that I've collected over the course of that time. And I would love to add drawings to that, and to be able to be like, oh, I went to this city and I saw this cute building and I drew it. So the point is not necessarily to make like incredibly beautiful artworks, but it is an expectation of like, I want to be able to draw what I see, for it to be at least like recognizable. But to get there, I have to accept that I am gonna make ugly shit and I might never get better. I feel like that is a big thing. Like, I don't want to get into this with the expectation of always improving, because if that is my goal, then I'm gonna feel like it's like a task that I have to do. But what I want is to enjoy the process and to accept that if I draw what I see now, it looks the way it looks. And maybe over time, if I do this more often, I will get better. But I don't want to be held back by the feeling of I have to be at a certain level of quality before it's valuable, because that's just not true. But still, it's hard to start. It's hard to like try to get over all of these expectations and fears and just pick up a pencil. But I'm excited too. I clearly remember being a teenager and always having a sketchbook with me and always just like doodling and drawing little things. And it wasn't my goal then to make something gorgeous. It wasn't even my goal then to improve in any way. It was just something that I enjoyed to do. And I would love to get back to that feeling. So I have to just start. I have to just try and accept that it's not gonna look good. But it will still be valuable. It will still be something I enjoy. And it will still be a way for me to capture my life, which is ultimately what I'm trying to do here. The thing is, to me, I am terrible at drawing because I compare myself to my incredibly talented friends and the people I see on the internet, and I just feel worse than them. But I also know that I am better at drawing than I was when I was 12 or 15. And I know my art education does give me a base of knowledge that I can implement here, even though I was never really taught any drawing lessons. It's easy to focus on all the things that I think are ugly about what I'm making, but it's hard to focus on why I want to make something and to let go of the feeling that that has to be good or beautiful. Because I really believe in the importance of making ugly art as a concept, but actually implementing it with something that I have so many high expectations of for myself is actually really hard. I think sometimes I forget what the point of hobbies actually is to me. Just the feeling of being able to fill my days with something that I love to do instead of just all the things that I have to do, my job, my household. I love the feeling of biking home and feeling excited to go home and crochet or read my book. I love that I have friends who love the same things as me and we can chat about our mutual interests. And no part of that list includes being the best at something or making money off of it. It just consists of what I feel when I do it. And I love drawing because it's an opportunity for me to clear my head, but it's also an opportunity for me to capture the world in the same way that I love to take videos and photos. And also, I just always need to be doing something with my hands. That's also why I love crocheting. Like, I love to do something with my hands while I'm thinking through something, or while I'm watching a show, or while I'm in a meeting trying to focus on what is being discussed. And in those moments, drawing could be perfect as well. But before I'm able to use drawing in that way again, I have to be comfortable with making things that are ugly, because I'm not gonna make beautiful, gorgeous artworks every time I'm drawing when I'm in a meeting. With drawing, I have not only this expectation of making beautiful things, but also this expectation of, at least if I'm bad now, I should be improving every single time I do it. So the drawing I make today should be better than the drawing I made yesterday. I know I'm not good now, but at least I will be good in the near future. And that again puts a kind of pressure on this thing that I enjoy that makes it less enjoyable. It's Saturday morning. I just woke up. I'm about to go to work, but I had a little bit of time before I had to leave. And I felt really excited to draw, but I've also been feeling quite overwhelmed by the options and the feeling of I'm trying to teach myself something. So I have to like do it in a smart way. So I noticed that I was getting lost in like looking up YouTube videos and trying to figure out what like a good game plan was to get better at drawing. And then I was like, wait, but that's not the point. The point is that I want to do this because I enjoy it and then maybe improve, but I don't have to do this in like the smartest way. I'm gonna continue drawing while we talk. But I was kind of overwhelmed just because there are so many options and I felt like, ooh, do I have to like choose a style, or is it smarter to start with like theory to learn anatomy or to learn shapes first and then use that in my drawings? But that just didn't excite me at all. Like I was not excited to learn those type of things. I was just excited to create something. So then I forced myself to think about like what is the goal for me here, because partially I really enjoy being able to learn something again. Like I feel like as humans we have this desire to kind of keep doing new things and to keep teaching yourself new things, and that is really exciting to me. I think the goal for me is to feel comfortable drawing things that I'm seeing, because that is what I did as a child, and that is like what I used in my art journal as well. It's like I would be somewhere and I would have my journal with me and I would just sketch what I was seeing. And that was just another way for me to capture the world besides like my writing and taking photos. So I think when I talk about I want to draw again, that is the kind of feeling that I'm chasing. I don't necessarily want to make like beautiful artworks that I can sell or that I can print and hang on the wall. I want to be able to capture what I'm seeing, even if that's just like a little sketch in my sketchbook. Like I don't need that to be like beautiful finished art piece. So now that I realize that, I think that helps me a lot with knowing how I want to actually do this, because I know what my goal is. I don't need to do like full classes on, I don't know, realistic drawing or something. I just want to be able to capture the world. And I decided to start with a picture that I took, which is what I'm working on right now. And I'm trying to unlearn a lot of like things that I think are true about art. Like I know that art is mostly just practice and doing a lot of it, and then you slowly and surely improve. And I know a lot of artists start with like tracing or copying other things, and I always feel like I can't do that because then it's not really my art. But again, that's an unhelpful thought, because actually I chose a picture that I took myself. I think it's actually really helpful to be able to draw pictures that I took, because that is just a different way of capturing what I'm seeing. It just has an extra step in between. Like if I can draw from a picture that I took, then the next step is to draw from the scene itself without the picture. And it's very unhelpful to just keep thinking about what I can and cannot do when it comes to my art. So I'm starting with tracing this picture because I think that is a step that I feel comfortable with right now. And then hopefully sometime soon I can
draw it with just the reference picture and not trace it. And then the next step would probably be to draw it from like the actual live scene instead of from a picture. But I think those three steps are like doable for me. I feel I cannot do them yet, but I feel like they're realistic steps instead of, I don't know, all the other thoughts and opinions that I had about what this process should look like. And also, this is not a linear process, obviously. Yesterday, I bought my sketchbook, and currently, I'm still working on my iPad, but I want to take my sketchbook to a coffee shop later today and just kind of see if I can sketch some things that I see around me. And they will probably not turn out very good, but that is eventually what I want to be able to do. So I think just already practicing that will make me feel more confident in that. And again, I'm trying to not put pressure on myself to make something good. Like, we're trying to make something and it's allowed to be bad. It's allowed to look ugly, especially in my sketchbook. Like, this little book is not going anywhere except near me. So nobody has to see what's inside. Nobody has to judge it. It is literally just for me to practice. So that being said, I immediately understand again why I used to love to draw so much and why I've had this desire for so long, because this feeling is so nice. Just like sitting here, I have a cup of coffee, I'm playing a video in the background, I can just really lose myself in this. I have to concentrate on it enough that it kind of shuts off my brain. And I do a lot of creative things. I do pottery, I write, I do crochet, I have all these different hobbies. But I think the only one that really shuts off my brain is pottery, because like you're so busy creating something with your hands that you cannot really think about anything else. And that is the same experience I have with drawing. But for example, with crochet, it's not stimulating enough. I usually use crochet as a way to keep my hands busy while I have to concentrate on something else. But my brain is still very much on when I crochet. And when I'm writing, my brain obviously also really has to be on in a different way, but it takes a lot of like brain power to write for me. And this is the exact opposite. Like, I really can shut off my brain and just completely lose myself in this task, which is really nice. I'm really enjoying it. So,
I think we currently live in a world where we are constantly valuing ourselves by measuring ourselves against other things. The quality of our job compared to our friends or people on the internet, the quality of how we look, our outfits, how many books you read in a year, how many steps are in your skincare routine. Everything is being compared to other people. And I think that has a really negative effect on hobbies. All the videos you see of people enjoying something is also something they're really good at, because that is the things that you're showing. Even getting into coloring is a way to show, oh, look how well I can color between the lines. Look how neat my drawings are. Look how beautiful this end result is. But if I take the time to go back to why I love doing something and why I think it's important to have hobbies, none of that is relevant. Of course, this is just an example and can be applied to many different hobbies. I felt similarly when I started to get into running. I felt like every single run had to be better than last time. Every single run had to be something that I could post on my Strava. I've been taking ceramics classes for years and I still make a lot of mistakes. And every time I make a mistake, I feel like I should know better and I should have improved more by now. But the truth is, making mistakes is just part of the process. I have made things that I'm incredibly proud of in my ceramics class, but I've also made things that were ugly, or they collapsed, or they cracked. I've experimented with trying new glazes and hated the way they turned out when they got out of the oven. I've tried new tools and accidentally like sliced open my whole cup. And at the end of the day, if you're so afraid of making mistakes, you don't even try, there's no way you're improving at all. For me with drawing, I was so afraid to make something that was ugly that I just never made something again. And I don't think that's ever worth it. The value of my hobby is not in the quality of the result. The value is in its ability to make me feel joyful or excited or relaxed. Even if I'm bad at something, it's still worth my time. Even if I never improve, even if I spend my whole life being terrible at drawing, even if I still make silly little drawings when I am 50 or 74 or 91. I hope that I still feel inspired to try new things even then, and I hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. It's a little bit different than what I usually make, so I would love to hear your feedback. You can subscribe down below if you want to, and I will hopefully see you again next week. Bye!